3rd and 7 again. Uyangale sacked again.
Oh, and it's intercepted by Nakobe Dean. Goodbye. Dean is gone.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another very special NFL Draft edition of Stay Hot, where, as we mentioned before, we're going to be sitting down with some of the top prospects in the draft, diving into their college careers, their hopes, their excitement for the NFL, and of course, tons and tons more. Today, we are joined by Georgia star linebacker Nakobe Dean, and it's great to have you on the show, man. Welcome.
Definitely. I'm glad to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
We have something in common. I don't know if you know that we both have very unique names. And according to an interview from a few years ago, you've never met another person named Nakobe. Does that still hold true today?
It's still true. It still holds true. I never met one.
Wow. I've never met anyone else named Bladen. So that was something. I was like, oh wow,
okay.
that's definitely.
Yeah, I never met anybody named Blade either, so.
Well, I've never met anyone else named Nakobe, so it's a great.
Okay, yeah.
It's a great.
What is the name? Does the name mean anything? Do you know? Does it have like some sort of special meaning?
Not at all. My mother name is Nikita. My older brother name is Nicholas, and that was like NINENA, the vowels basically. So
fair enough.
I have a lot of respect for anybody who can like just think of a new name and it actually sounds like good and cool and like normalizes it.
Exactly.
I don't think I could just think of like a brand new name on the spot like that. I think that it would be
me either.
So you grew up, like, speaking of like childhood and whatever, you grew up near Memphis. I had that like 18 minutes away. We looked it up, and I had a friend who went down to Memphis to pursue a music career, which I feel like that's kind of a big thing in Memphis. Do you have like a Mount Rushmore of Memphis, like musical artists or rappers or whatever?
Oh my goodness. A Mount Rushmore of Memphis. For me, this is my personal opinion. Because of course you can say like 3 6 Mafia and then they kind of all started, but I didn't really get into that. That was before my time. But I have to say Yo Gotti, Young Dolph, even though they was beefing. Yo Gotti, Young Dolph, Moneybag Yo. This last spot, I might say Pooh Shiesty.
All right.
Maybe.
Okay. Yes, that's a good. I have heard of all of those people, so that's probably a solid top 4.
Yeah.
And then I guess like growing up in Memphis, like any like stories of childhood or growing up in the city, like what makes it special or anything like that.
So I'm just trying to put this in the air. I grew up in Horn Lake,
right?
Mississippi.
Yeah, near Memphis.
So that's right outside of Memphis, and so I don't want y'all thinking I claim Memphis because I don't at all.
All right, fair enough.
Because if you from Horn Lake and you go and you claim Memphis, they be like you not from Memphis, basically.
Okay. I do not want that around you then, surrounding you then.
Nah, it's all cool, but my mama didn't want me going to Memphis much growing up just because of the crime and everything, but it wasn't no different from where I was at, really. A lot of people lived in the same spot. I could literally walk across the border if I wanted to. It was literally nowhere to be in Memphis, South Memphis. So, growing up, it was what it was.
You had an older brother who played tight end at Ole Miss. Do you think or what do you think you learned from having an older brother who was also, a D1 collegiate athlete?
So he came in. He came back as a walk-on at Ole Miss. So basically, what have I learned? I say I've learned, from my brother. It probably nothing as far as football standpoint. Like as far as just being on the field and doing certain things a lot as far as life. I look up to my older brother just because of the person he is and everything he's doing and how hard he working to accomplish his goals. So I'll say he teach me things. I'd be a little bit more family oriented. Things like that. Sometimes I'd be so locked in on my grind and on my mentals that I kind of don't check on my people at home. I don't be trying to check on my mother, my brother, my sister. So my brother always makes sure I stay on that. Make sure I'm taking care of what I'm taking care of. So basically that.
No, I got you. Going a little bit more to football. Georgia lost to Alabama in the SEC championship game, but then ended up getting them again in the national title and beating them. What do you think changed from that SEC championship game to the national title?
We got a little bit more simple. Definitely on the defense standpoint, we got way more simple. I felt like the first game, everybody was kind of on edge. I wouldn't say we came in a little too a little bit too a little too comfortable. Basically, we kind of felt like we had it in the bag the first game, but of course they came out. They played hard. They had a good game plan. They came out. They executed. We had 0 sacks on defense side of the ball. So it was real uncharacteristic of us the way we played. So the second time around, we got a little bit more simple. We made it easier. We kind of just like, all right, we're gonna lock up man to man, and we're gonna let the big boys up front rush. We're not gonna call no stunts or anything. So we just really just got simple, and we just thought they beat us mano a mano. Yeah, if they would have beat us that way, then we could live with ourselves. But so we just got simple. That's it.
And then famously, I know you've probably been hearing about this a lot, but famously after the game, you put on the wrong hat of Alabama winning the game. At what point did someone let you know that you had on the wrong hat, or did nobody else realize?
So after the game, media come and grab you because you got to do interviews for TV and things like this, but you just won a national championship. You're trying to go turn up with the guys and things of that sort. So I'm trying to go turn up. Somebody grabbed me. They was like, "Come on, we need to do the media and all this." So I'm like, I'm blowing them off. I'm like, look, I gotta go. I'm trying to go turn up with the guys. And he was like, hey, but you need to, like, can you stay close? So I kind of get a little irritated with him. I'm like, could you grab me like a hat and a newspaper and a shirt? Because I couldn't grab one if I can't go grab one. He was like, I got you. So I'm still like dapping up my boys. Turn around, he got the hat, he got the newspaper, he got the shirt. So he give me the hat, and I just put it on. Next thing I know, there's a camera in my face. I'm doing the interview. He said, I'm doing the interview. I don't look at the hat or nothing. You just want a natty. Who gonna look at the hat? Not at all. So I do the whole interview. Then I'm on the way to the stage. I'm on the way to the stage, and a woman tapped me. She like, you got the wrong hat on. I'm like, huh? She like, you got the wrong hat on. And I kind of took it off, and I looked. I'm like, come on. I don't know how they got that messed up, how they do that, but all in all, it was funny though. It was funny. As long as I got the right hat, found the right hat, so it was all good.
Did you keep the Alabama one at all? Did you keep that as like, oh, this is the hat I got, this is memorable, or did you just be like, I do not want that in my sight at all?
I did. When I seen it, I kind of like just like touched it a little bit.
It's probably good.
Ain't no way they did that. I should have kept it. Looking back on it.
And speaking of hats, I noticed that you're pretty commonly spotted in a pretty classy hat or outfit, and I was just wondering, do you have to have a collection? So,
yeah.
Do you have a favorite that you go to, or is it just like a favorite child you can't really pick?
So yeah, I don't necessarily have a favorite. It's more so like the fits come first, and I find a hat to go off of it. The hat that basically the hat that goes with the fit. It started off sophomore year when COVID was going on. I wore a hat. It was cheap, but my mom was like, "You look good in the hat. You look good," and it was like, all right, something I'm gonna run with. So I had already been kind of stocking up on. I wouldn't say stocking up, but I bought a couple suits during COVID year that I didn't wear because I'm like, nobody's gonna see me because we don't have dog walk because of COVID basically. So I'm like, I'm not gonna wear it. So I was just wearing old suits, the same suits every time. So coming around this year, I was like, first game of the season, I'm gonna put out one. I pulled it out. This was the only hat I had at the time. I pulled it out, came and people took pictures of it. I'm not too much on social media, like as far as typing my name in, but my mother, and they'll do it all the time. So they see people talking about how good I look, or how basically how much attention I drew to it. So my mom was like, "We gotta get you more hats, more hats." So I probably got about seven or eight different hats now. I still got
Okay.
like two or three of them that I haven't
So
even like shown.
I mean, you've got to be thinking at this point, like once you get that NFL paycheck, you're going to buy a bunch of them and be the best dressed player in the NFL, right? Like that's got to be the goal.
We'll see. Maybe I open up a hat business. It sounds better to me.
That's
So,
a plan.
A little brim fedora business. So we'll see. But I definitely got. I mean, I got. So last like 2 weeks ago or last week, I posted like on my story. I posted like a lot of my fits, probably like 80% of my fits from the season that wasn't even on Instagram, so nobody's seen it. Nobody have seen it, just been in my phone. And people's like, you should make a TikTok. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't even know how to work TikTok. I don't have a TikTok, but I'm gonna get my little sister to do it. She know how to do it.
All right.
That's fair enough. We have you could ask us for help if you need any TikTok help. We know what's up.
Good.
I'm curious, how often in your experience, do you think athletes search their own name on Twitter to see what people are saying about them? Does that happen a lot, or do most people just are like, the people talk, we're just in it?
I feel like it happens. I feel like it happens a lot. I feel like people don't. Feel like the athlete don't care much. It'd be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of crazy, bad stuff. There's gonna be people saying good stuff about you. But either way, you can't care much because people gonna talk bad about you. People talk bad about me my whole life. People say good stuff about me my whole life. You can't let it get to your head either way. So just gotta stay level. Gotta stay neutral. If you ask me, I don't think you should do it just because it'll get to you. It'll probably get to you either way, good or bad. So I feel like you shouldn't. But I mean, I guess it is nice to be able to Google your name and a picture pop up of you.
For sure. One more question, I guess, before we get into some of the big football stuff. You say you don't post on social media once, but we did try to look through your Twitter in preparation for this interview. And there was a video of you guys in your frat dancing with like the ski masks on. And I thought that you guys were pretty good at it. So like, have you tried to incorporate that into like a potential celebration, sack celebration, touchdown celebration?
So I don't know if y'all seen any pictures of me throwing up the hooks when I do this. That's part of my fraternity.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something that's part of my fraternity when I do that, and I see other people doing it, but it's like, you don't really supposed to be doing that,
right?
But yeah. So yeah, when I do that, that's basically part of my fraternity. Just giving them a shout out when I make a big play, and things like that.
For sure. And going into some of the football stuff, obviously we talked a little bit about, growing up near Memphis and whatnot. And you were really highly recruited, had offers from all over the place. And what made you choose Georgia over some other schools, like I think Bama and or whoever else made you an offer? What made Georgia the pick?
So I had, like you said, I had offers from a lot of places. But it had came down like my senior year. I was getting recruited. I was going on trips and everything. I had been recruited so long at that point. It was like, I'm trying to win a state championship. So I was so focused on that I kind of looked up, and after the season, I was like, man, I don't even know where I want to go. So I was in my Mississippi versus Alabama All-Star game. I took a nap. I woke up. First I prayed. I asked God, and He give me a sign like what school to go to. Took a nap, woke up. Kirby Smart, first one called me. He called me. It was like a regular conversation. I hung up, and then, it just left Georgia in the back of my mind because I did ask God to give me like a sign or something. So either way, I kind of tried to blow it off, but it kept them in the back of my mind. So a couple of days later, I asked my parents and my siblings, what school do y'all think I should go to? And my mom said, my father ain't care, brother. Well, he cared, but he was like, oh, I'm with you, whatever. Brother, I'm with you, whatever. My sister, she ain't care. Uh, my mother, she wanted me to go to Alabama. So I could understand her wanting me to go to Alabama. It was 3 hours away from the house, not too far. A decent, good engineering school. We knew the dean of engineering at the point. So see, I understand why she wanted me to. But I just was like, no, Mom, I don't want to go to Alabama. So she kind of got her feelings about that. She was mad that I didn't listen to her. But so it eventually came down to LSU in Georgia. Business came down to LSU in Georgia. I think my mother got a phone call, and she was on the phone call, and I don't know, I forgot to do recruitment at the point, said something that rubbed her the wrong way from LSU, and my mama, she got like kind of like an attitude when they did it. So it wasn't a big attitude, like she didn't flip out, but I just when that moment I was thinking, okay, I guess I'm going to Georgia. And note this all the day. This like 2 hours before I got to get on stage. I didn't even know where I wanted to go 2 hours before I got to get on stage. So it was like at that moment I was like, all right, I know where I'm going. So I spent them the last 2 hours looking for a shirt or a hat or something. I had nothing. And I remember going on a visit to Georgia, and my mama brought a Georgia T-shirt from the Walgreens right downtown. She bought or the Target. Bought a Georgia T-shirt because I had I think I wasted something on my shirt or something, and I ended up like pulling that out my shoebox. I had some red 12s, and I didn't want to come in walking with all red shoes on because they would have known. So
Fair.
that's how I came to Georgia. That's how Georgia came about.
And Georgia obviously you guys had maybe the best defense in college football history this year. Is there anything that you think Georgia specifically looks for when it's recruiting, like that maybe other schools don't? Is there a trait that they really value that allowed them to build like such a insane unit this year? Or is it just like they just kind of lucked out?
I'll be honest, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Georgia always had talent. Georgia
sure.
always had talent every year, have some of the top talent in the world. I feel like this year was different just because everybody kind of grew up a little bit as far as leadership standpoint. Everybody was more competitive, but from a standpoint of I'm trying to get you better, and not a standpoint of they see you as taking my job. It's like if I'm working beside them, we play the same position. It's like we trying to push the way we can get each other better, even though we both want to play. So, but I feel like the connection piece was together more greatly this past season. And I feel like them intelligence off the field helped us on the field when it came down to it. Everybody was hanging out more outside of practice and things like that. And it wasn't so clicked up like everybody being their own little clique. It wasn't so much like that no more. So I feel like that helped us more this season.
For sure. And earlier you said like in the SEC championship game, things were too complex and you simpled it. Like you were more simple with it in the national championship game. The Georgia defense, like a lot of the times is probably one of the more complex ones I've ever seen. Some of the stunts you guys break out and like the playbooks and the fronts and everything is just so advanced and so high level and probably more high level than a lot of NFL playbooks, honestly. How do you go about like as a middle linebacker and like the leader of that unit? How do you go about like memorizing all that and learning that playbook? Like, what is that process like?
It's not easy at all. Me having to learn it. I know I came in springtime as a freshman, trying to learn the playbook. It was actually a little bit more complex than it is now, just because the calls. It wasn't more complex. Actually, it was just the calls was longer. Like we had to make this call, that call. Instead of we just simplified it down, made the D line think more. But It's definitely harder because I feel like we run every coverage between 0 and 9. So it definitely helps you with whatever with whatever team we go to in the league, you'll be able to figure out what kind of coverage you playing just because of the system we played at Georgia. And then you put a lot of pride in yourself being the middle linebacker, being the head of the defense, the leader of the defense, to know what everybody got to do, what everybody's job is, no matter what the play is. So before you can get everything right, you can be a problem solver. If somebody don't know something, you know what they're doing, you can tell them, basically. So it's a lot of pride and a lot of studying and learning.
For sure, for sure. I have one question about your teammate Jordan Davis. I'm just curious to know this myself. There's a lot of talk, like as the draft process goes on with him, about like the amount of snaps that he played. I think it was around 65% in that defense. And a lot of people are wondering if that's more conditioning or more like just the Georgia front being so deep and like so many guys that people rotate in and out. What do you think of like his like conditioning, and like, do you think like he could be more of a 3-down player, or do you think like Georgia just was so deep they didn't need to ask that?
I know he can be more. I know he can be a 3-down player. Everybody on our defense. We at Georgia, we did rotate in a lot. Definitely the D line, they rotate. They just want to get guys to play. And definitely when we was, and you say he only played 65% of snaps for. You got to think about it. We blew a lot of teams out. So a lot of the starters, for a lot of people wasn't playing as much as we probably wanted to play towards the middle to the beginning to the middle of the season. So. We definitely, definitely at first you think like, dang, I want to play more. Like we ain't even like, I come out first half, had 6 tackles and a sack. It's like I can get 12 tackles, 2 sacks, but not playing second half because we killing the team. So, you at first you think like, dang, but then you got to remember like we blowing every team out. So like you're not finna complain about winning. So, but at the same time, I feel like he can be a 3-down backer. I mean, a 3-down lineman. I feel like everybody on our defense is set to do whatever they got to do to get the job done in the league.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And one thing that I've been thinking about, and I know has been going on in a lot of circles, is the idea that, the linebacker position has been getting increasingly difficult to evaluate and predict. And I was just wondering how you feel, you've done as, an athlete and as a linebacker of, like watching guys at the next level and seeing like, oh, this guy's really good. This guy's been really good for a long time, like Bobby Wagner or Fred Warner. How can I take something from his game and implement it into my game to make myself an elite threat for a long time?
Right. So, for me, I don't feel like the linebacker position is getting more complex to evaluate. In high school, I was covering, I was blitzing, I was filling the gap and run. I was taking on blocks of big guys. College, same thing. Covering receivers, covering running backs, covering tight ends, blitzing, taking on blocks, filling gaps. So I feel like for me, the linebacker position has always been the same in the ever so evolving game. It's faster. You gotta be able to cover. You gotta be able to do this. But as far as watching guys, I do watch a lot of different guys on how they and try to take a little bit of the game. I won't compare myself to nobody in the league, but I would say that I do. Like if I do see somebody I like, or I see somebody like Zach Cunningham. I don't know if y'all know him, but Zach Cunningham, he's good at run, stopping the run and everything like that, taking on blocks. He's aggressive, being aggressive down here. Then you got Roquan and went to Georgia. The way he open field tackles and get to the ball and pass he plays with. You got Darius Leonard. He punching the ball out every second he gets. So it's like you taking little things from all different type of guys that you watch. And that's basically what I try to do. I try to and it's not even them. If I see people in college or even in high school, they do something that I feel like will help. and work on. I'm thinking like, man, what was that? Like I can
Right.
possibly try to do that. So yeah, I'm not. I'm not. I don't think I'm all high and mighty not to take something that I feel like will work and try it myself.
Going into the NFL, is there a team or a player or a quarterback that you're excited to go up against?
I haven't even thought about that. But I mean, Tom Brady been in the league for a long time, so I mean, definitely now that he retired and came back, it's like maybe you want to. Maybe it's right for me to just possibly play against him just one time, just but either way, I'll just be happy I'm in the league, happy to just be there playing with some of the best players in the world, and trying to make the point that I'm one of the best players in the world also.
You interviewed with some teams, like obviously you were at the combine and you got interviewed by a bunch of teams. I feel like I've got to ask this question because I'm always interested to see what the teams ask. Was there like a weird question you got at the combine that you were like, oh, I wonder why they asked that? Were they just testing me or messing with me?
Yeah. So, they do mess with you a lot, but I didn't get too many crazy questions that just stuck in my memory. But one of the weirdest things I probably got asked was I walked in, he was like, man, you got some small feet. What size shoe you wear? I'm like, I wear size 12. He's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was. He said, I thought you were like a 9 or something. I was like, nah, I wear size 12. So that was about the weirdest thing I got at the combine. But
Do you think they're instructed to just like mess with you a little bit from their teams, just see how they react, or do you think they're just actually just like that?
Yeah, I feel like some teams are. Some teams just want to mess with you. I feel like you be in there, you see, because they got a lot of meetings every day, so they got just as many meetings that we probably got. So I feel like they probably get bored. They want to mess with guys a little bit. So you can't hold it against them, but they also want to see how you react. Are you like a guy who's gonna flip out? Or are you gonna trip? Or are you gonna be cool about it? Definitely if it's coming from like a comedic standpoint. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they might try to come a little hostile, but at the same time, they just trying to see how you are, basically, how you gonna react to it. So, yeah, I feel like they told to do
that. And speaking of the combine, do you feel like there is a drill that is missing from the combine? I know the combine's been receiving a lot of heat recently, especially after Ajabo got hurt. But that was at his pro day. But do you feel like there's like a drill that you think would better showcase your skills?
Probably not. I mean, no. I mean, adding something to the combine, probably not.
Okay.
It's a lot of things that people feel, just talking about the players and things that we feel like, man, what this got to do with football? But
right.
At the end of the day, it's part of the trying to get the job. You got to do it. So, it is what it is. You're gonna do it. You're gonna try to do your best at it.
Do you think you have to do it? I always wonder about the future of the combine because I always feel like players, like you say, it sounds like a lot of them are like, well, what does this really have to do with football? And I feel like as time goes on, that feeling might get more and more like severe. And I wonder, like, do you think in like 10, 15, 20 years, the combine will still be happening, or do you think it'll just mostly be pro days and stuff? I've always like wondered about that. What your thoughts on that is?
Man, I don't think the combine going nowhere. At the
Okay.
end of the day, you as a kid, you grow up, you watch the combine, you like, man, this is nice. You see the 40, you see the verse. You be like, I want to do that. I was that kid. I was like, man, I can't wait till I get to the combine. Fortunately, I wasn't able to participate because I was hurt. But you think about stuff like that. So as long as the NFL want to do it, it's gonna be a combine because you're gonna always have guys that want to go to the combine.
Fair enough.
Right.
And in high school, you were, correct me if I'm wrong, you were a straight A student.
Right.
And then in college, you had a 3.5 GPA, and you're an engineering major.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about an engineering major, which is, I'm an engineering major. I know how difficult that kind of stuff is. Balancing that in football, and you talk about how complex the Georgia playbook is and how difficult it was for you to pick up on calls early on. How did you balance all of that?
Man, it was hard. I came in freshman year. The first semester was one of the toughest semesters I went through, just because I'm missing home. I see all my
Right.
guys on social media. This their last semester of high school, so they not doing nothing. They just having fun. I'm struggling. Class is harder. I'm in football practice getting yelled at. Everybody faster. Competition harder. I don't know nobody. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to meet new people and everything like that. So everything, all that mixed up was harder. But so after freshman year passed, boom, sophomore year, you kind of start, getting into the groove a little bit. COVID hit though. COVID hit, sending everybody home. Now you gotta learn how to learn virtually, and trying to, you say you being an engineer major also, that in engineering class you do a lot of like group work, do a lot of team
Right.
activities, a lot of group work, and you went from doing that to doing everything by yourself. And you got no questions to ask, and you got to email the teachers. Teachers take 2 or 3 days to get back at you. So it's like, man, COVID was crazy. It was hard. It was hard for me because I had to learn. I was at home and everything. So fast forward, junior year, we finally mostly in class, and I finally figured it out. I'm a little more comfortable. I know people now, and things of that sort. So kind of all put everything together, and I had this thing like thrive off 5. Basically, that's when I was thriving off 5 hours of sleep. So it's different now. I don't have to do that. I don't have to thrive off 5. I can get my sleep because I got time. I didn't have
Right.
time. Then I had to do homework all day. It was a lot of late night studying. So no more. No, hopefully, there's no more thrive off 5.
Hopefully. And hypothetically, if you weren't going into the NFL and you could have, an engineering job, what do you think you would do?
I like to work in like prosthetics, like
Oh, wow.
designing, building prosthetics and things like that. I probably, but if I didn't have like a football, I probably would have went to like the pre-med track too. So I mean,
Okay.
and I'm a mechanical engineer major, so there's a lot of different
Right.
avenues you can go into. So and I'm also open to doing different things. I remember taking my basically my intro to mechanical engineering class, and they had all type of mechanical engineers come talk, and they were talking about their jobs. I just thought, man, I would not want to do that job. I'm thinking, because it's not a bad job. It's not a bad job. But I'm just thinking I would not be interested in doing that job. So I
Right.
had to kind of like look up jobs and meet people and this and that and see like, okay, it is cool jobs out there that mechanical engineers can have. So yeah.
That's fair. Well, I think before we get out, we have a few rapid fire questions that we want to throw at you. And these are just, don't think about it too hard, just off the dome, whatever first comes to your mind. So a
Gotcha.
first pretty obvious one is the first purchase when you get that first NFL paycheck.
My mother, a car.
Do you know what kind of car you'd get her?
She kind of been liking this Porsche. So
Okay.
I might get this this Porsche truck, but we gonna see.
Okay. I've been a big fan of those Porsche cars recently, so
Yeah.
I can definitely respect that. Number 2 is your celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush. I don't even have a celebrity crush. I haven't had one of them in so long. Who I think look good. I don't know. I have.
You don't have to. You don't have to answer that.
I haven't had one of them since I was like.
What about like a celebrity you just want to meet? Just like
I want to meet. Kevin Gates, Rod Wave.
okay.
I just want to, because I like their music, basically.
Yeah, I respect
Just straight
that.
out the muscle. That's it.
Fair enough. What about your biggest fear?
I fear God. I fear God. So Psalm 27 and 1. Psalm 27 and 1. Y'all go look up the verse.
God-fearing man. Mad respect. Your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? I got a lot of them, but I'll say one of my favorite is Set It Off. Set It Off with Queen Latifah,
Yeah.
Jada Smith. Yeah,
Okay.
one of my
Okay.
favorites.
And then
20%.
favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla. I'm so like lame. I'm so like
Good man. Good man.
that's all I look. I'm straight vanilla. That's it. That's all I need.
That's the number one defensive prospect right here. Likes vanilla ice cream. Good man. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
That's it.
Thank you again for coming on.
Definitely.
The ice cream thing's kind of a bit here, so we always try and ask that. But yeah, thanks again for coming on. As always, everybody, tons and tons of content coming away on all platforms. We will be back with some more interviews soon, and we will be back with another podcast episode as well. And until next time, we will catch you all on the flippity flop.
Definitely.